right, good afternoon, everyone. Very lovely to see everyone in person again. So very warm welcome to our distinguished guests, partners and entrepreneurs who are here with us at the Singapore Maritime Gallery, as well as those who are joining us online. Hello. Welcome to the launch event of SmartPort Challenge 2022. My name is Ning. I'm the program manager of Pier 71, and that's Port Innovation Ecosystem Reimagined at Block 71, which is co-founded by the Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore and the National University of Singapore via its entrepreneurial arm, that's NUS Enterprise. So, Pier 71 aims to attract talents. We create opportunities, attract investment into startups, and accelerate ventures. Now, I'm going to start the program real soon, so I'd like to invite SMS Chee on stage to deliver his welcome speech. SMS, please.
NPA Chairman Mr. Ngiam Chang Ming, NUS Assistant Vice President for Innovation and Enterprise, Professor Chee Ming. Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. I'm pleased to join you for the launch of this year's Pier 71 Smart Port Challenge. Now, this is the 6th edition of the Smart Port Challenge. So it's timely for me to begin by taking stock of our progress so far, and also then to look ahead to what are some of the new possibilities. The first Smart Port Challenge started in 2017 with the vision to bring together startups and industry players to work together to develop practical solutions for real-life challenges in the maritime sector. At that time, the startup scene for maritime technology, or what we call marine tech, was nascent. Smart Port Challenge was our response to the industry's growing demand for tech solutions to meet its operational challenges. And we want to provide a platform for startups to be a dynamic force of change and innovation. So soon after we started, we quickly realized the value of productive collaboration in this space. MPA had the resources to support marine tech startups and also the networks to be able to bring in useful perspectives from the maritime industry. That is MPA's strength. But we needed a partner with the expertise and the experience in entrepreneurship to foster the ecosystem in which these startups could grow and flourish. And that's where we found NUS Enterprise, with its established connections to the larger innovation ecosystem in Singapore. NUS Enterprise is an ideal partner for this initiative. So together we launched Pier 71 in 2018, and this has become our central platform for attracting, for connecting, and for grooming tech startups and entrepreneurs to build stronger capabilities and innovative solutions for the maritime industry. We have refined our approach over time as we learn more about what are some of the key success factors and what are some of the enablers for innovation. For example, technology developers need to test bed their solutions in real life operating environments. Otherwise, it may look good in theory, it may look good in the lab, but you're not sure whether it works. So they need a real life operating environment to test their solutions. But existing regulatory standards may not allow such new technologies, at least not without testing. So you are faced with a chicken and egg problem. You don't test, you don't know whether it works. You don't know whether it works, you don't dare to let people try. So this is where regulatory sandboxes become important enablers. MPA has been an advocate for greater regulatory flexibility, encouraging and working with other government agencies to provide safe spaces for technology developers to experiment. And if you fail, you can fail safely in a safe environment. So MPA has put in place regulatory sandboxes such as the MPA Living Lab, which consists of physical test beds at sea to facilitate the trials of drones, autonomous vessels, and wireless communication technologies in the port environment. And the maritime drone estate, not too far from here, for the development of drone technologies for maritime applications. So I'm glad to report that we have had a promising start in developing our marine tech ecosystem so far. Since the inception of the Smart Port Challenge in 2017, MPA has awarded a grant of $50,000 under the Maritime Innovation and Technology, or MIN Fund, to 50 participating startups for prototype development and test bidding. And this includes 11 new MIN startup grant recipients from previous editions of the Smart Port Challenge. The projects from our latest crop of startups span a wide range of uses, such as enhancing the productivity of our companies, improving the safety and training for maritime workers, and reducing the environmental impact of our sector. A total of 76 startups have benefited from Pier 71 Accelerate since 2018. This is a market and business model validation program that helps startups to improve their technologies and build up strong business teams under the mentorship of industry partners. Our efforts are bearing fruit. To date, 17 startups have developed their solutions in maritime companies, and 6 of the solutions have been fully developed into commercial products. And 4 of the startups incubated here have ventured into overseas markets. One such company is Podcast, alumnus of Smart Port Challenge 2018. Podcast uses machine learning and artificial intelligence to analyze data in order to predict the volume and arrival times of cargo across the world. By providing a dynamic and accurate picture of global trade flows, Podcast empowers its customers with greater insight and visibility to make better business and supply chain decisions. Podcast made good use of Pier 71 to assess markets, funding, technology, and importantly, talent. In addition to receiving a $50,000 grant from MPA, Podcast used SPC 2018 as a platform to showcase their technology to potential customers and investors around the world. The Podcast team also received guidance in their entrepreneurship journey through masterclasses and mentorship from an experienced industry professional. Podcast has since raised a total of US $3.2 million in investments from partners like Wavemaker, Newtown, and Innoport. And they have expanded their services to 8 other countries in Asia and Europe. Now, I want to be clear that not every company, not every startup will be as successful as Podcast. Some of the startups that participate in the Smart Port Challenge may have very promising ideas, but some of these ideas need more time to become successful commercial products. Some may meet some roadblocks and later do not succeed. But it is okay, because this is part and parcel of casting our net wide, trying out different promising ideas. Some will not succeed, some still need more time, and some, like Podcasts, will do well and flourish and grow. But as an ecosystem, we want to continue to invest in, support, and nurture more of these startups. Whether you fall into the first category like Podcasts, successful, or whether you are in the second category where you need more time, still working on it, or even whether you're in the third category where you try, you don't succeed, but please try again, and you may succeed the next time. So our efforts to build the maritime startup ecosystem has been acknowledged internationally. In 2021, Inmarsat published a report on Singapore's maritime startup and innovation ecosystem, describing us as a startup magnet and a modern-day David in the world of innovation Goliaths. Now, we will build on this momentum and support promising startups to scale up their business solutions. During the grand finals of the SPC in November last year, I announced the Phase 2 development of Pier 71 to support marine tech scale-ups through Peer 71 SN. Now, Peer 71 SN is a bespoke program to help promising startups acquire new customers, scale their capabilities, grow their team of talent, and hopefully secure new investments. Founders will be supported through curated masterclasses, industry networking sessions, and an annual immersion program to help them connect with overseas markets and government stakeholders. Startups selected for the SN program will also be able to apply for the enhanced grant support of up to $100,000 under the Mint Startup Grant. MPA targets to have up to 5 startups in the first cohort, which will be unveiled in September 2022. On this note, I'm pleased to launch the 6th edition of SPC this year, where we have 15 challenge statements that have been co-created with 16 maritime companies. Now, this edition of SPC takes place as the world emerges from COVID-19 pandemic and faces multiple challenges like supply chain disruptions, inflation, labor shortages, geopolitical conflicts. The challenge statements this year focus on 3 key issues which are top of mind for the maritime sector. Now, first, companies are looking for solutions that can enhance supply chain resilience. I think this one, everybody will agree, very important. Now, how do you do this? You want to enhance visibility, you want to enhance resilience, you want to look for new ways of sharing data, coordination amongst the different stakeholders along the supply chain. Now, this topic has gained renewed urgency amidst uncertainties in global trade over the last 2 years, and the pandemic has brought to the forefront very clearly to all of us why this is so crucial to societies, to companies, and to all of us as consumers. Now, for example, ship suppliers currently rely on their last mile vendors to obtain signatories on paper-based documents from the captain or the crew. So this results in manpower and administrative burden, and it causes a strain of efficiency as well as unnecessary congestion and delays in ports. Wilhelmsen Ships Service is seeking digital solutions that can provide a seamless, secure, and traceable way to validate the successful delivery of goods. So this is just one example. Second, companies are keen to leverage technology to enhance productivity and operational efficiency. PSA has challenged participants to create technology solutions that augment the skills and accuracy of human operators as they operate key cranes in our port. The American Bureau of Shipping is looking for solutions to spur the adoption of additive manufacturing for vessel spare parts, which can transform the way vessels are repaired today. And I suppose with supply chain disruptions, this gives additional resilience and options to vessel owners. Third, companies have called for innovative solutions to improve the safety and well-being of maritime workers. Again, the pandemic has shown us very clearly that this is important. And these include enhancing the quality of drinking water on board vessels, something that sounds very basic but actually very important, and reducing the risk of serious injury for workers when they are cleaning bulk carrier cargo holds or taking draft mark readings. So I welcome innovators from around the world, both from within and also beyond the maritime sector, both from within Singapore and also beyond our shores. I welcome innovators to join us in applying your creativity, your ideas in tackling these important challenges. So to conclude, we can be proud of the progress that we have made thus far. But there is still much more that we need to do to realize our vision to become the Silicon Valley of marine tech. That is something which requires all of us collectively to work towards. We cannot know for sure what that next big technology will be, and we also don't know what is the exact path that will lead us there. What we can do is to build an ecosystem which maximizes our chances of nurturing and attracting talented entrepreneurs and innovators, people with vision, know-how, and grit, and support them to use Singapore as a launchpad to pursue new ideas and achieve new breakthroughs. Together, we can continue to learn and to grow together and create new and exciting possibilities in this blue ocean of opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chee Hong Tat, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Transport, Deputy Secretary General NTUC, for that very inspiring speech. So next, I'd like to invite Professor Chee Yao-ming, Associate Vice President, Innovation and Enterprise, NUS, on stage to deliver his speech.
Senior Minister of State for Transport and NTUC Deputy Secretary General, Mr. Chee Hong Tat, Chairman MPA, Mr. Ngiam Chiang Meng, CMPA, Ms. Kwa Lei Hun, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A very good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today at the launch of Smart Port Challenge 2022, organized by Pier 71. Let me congratulate the 11 winners of the MPA Startup Grant that we'll hear about later on, and wish them the very best in their startup journey. Pier 71 is a collaboration between MPA and NUS, founded in 2018 as the first industry-wide accelerator program for the port and maritime industry. Its purpose is to bring technology startups from different industries all over the world to reimagine their solutions for maritime and to help them to grow. To date, close to 80 startups have gained validation and market access through Pier 71. 50 startups, you heard from SMHC earlier, including the 11 this year, have been awarded grants to support them in further development of their solutions. The investor community has also taken notice of this. Just last year alone, VCs actually invested more than $25 million into Pier 71 startups. Pier 71 is now 4 years old. But not only has its mission remained as relevant, we have actually become more ambitious. MPA and NUS renewed their partnership in November last year and announced stretch goals of not only a bigger number of startups that we want here in Singapore, but to also groom some of them into global titans. In July this year, Pier 71 will start to identify, invite, and onboard the first cohort of startups with growth potential into a new program called Pier 71 SN. Startups under this high-touch program will go on a one-year journey of Pier 71 with customized growth plan, regular progress reviews, industry networking, master classes, and even overseas exposures. There are 3 reasons why NUS founded Pier 71 with MPA, which has now entered into an even longer partnership. The first reason is that along with education and research, innovation and enterprise is an unchanging core mission of NUS. We are very deliberate in instilling an entrepreneurial spirit in our students and providing them with the best support we can in their startup journey. We have been recognized as the university that grooms Singapore's biggest startup founders and the most influential force behind startups in Singapore. The NUS Colleges or NOC program alone has trained more than 4,000 students who have founded more than 800 startups over the past 20 years. The second reason is that NUS sees herself as a platform for ideas and talent. Alongside capital, ideas and talent are precisely the key ingredients for a vibrant ecosystem. As a top global research-intensive university, NUS is a source of ideas, whether in the form of inventions, technologies, or thought leadership. We also attract quality students as a talent pipeline. So if Singtel innovates for capital access, NUS attempted to build a startup ecosystem back in 2011. By 2014, the Straits Times has called it the heart of Singapore's technology startup ecosystem. And The Economist has also called it the world's tightest packed entrepreneurial ecosystem. That ecosystem is Block 71. So that's the reason why we cited Pier 71 at Block 71. As part of its 10th anniversary celebration last year, we did an impact study of Block 71 over its 10-year history. It was found that Block 71 startups accounted for 11% of startup capital raised in Singapore and captured 25% of total valuation of startups in Singapore over the same 10-year period. When we read these numbers, we should bear in mind the relatively small footprint of Block 71 compared to the rest of Singapore. And that brings me to the third reason. We are in a unique position to build vibrant communities. The strong NUS brand name and reputation bring factors that are vital for success. Companies and the community knows that when NUS stands behind an ecosystem, there is a certain standard of quality, trustworthiness, and assurance. We are in for the long haul, together with MPA. I'm happy to mention that we are now also exploring outreach as an upstream activity in partnership with MPA, as we recognize that talent is key. We want to expose entrepreneurial talent to the maritime sector in the hope that they will be attracted to this industry. So we are now planning to set up a new thematic location in the Nordics for the NOC program to focus on maritime tech internships for our students. In closing, I would like to thank MPA for this exciting partnership and fun too, and the opportunity to contribute to making Singapore a maritime Silicon Valley. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Chee. So I'd like to introduce SmartPort Challenge a little bit to our entrepreneurs who are hearing this for the first time. So SmartPort Challenge is an annual innovation challenge competition to find the very best ideas and solutions from technology startups to address challenges or what we call innovation opportunities that are put forth by maritime corporates and organizations in Singapore. It was started in 2017 by NPA. SmartPort Challenge has now become the flagship program of Peers Anyone when it was founded in 2018. And the challenge this year is supported by Economic Development Board, Singapore Association of Ship Suppliers and Services, Singapore Logistics Association, Singapore Shipping Association, and Startup SG, an initiative of Enterprise SG. And this year, SmartPort Challenge has a total of 15 innovation opportunities that are championed by 21 maritime corporates and organizations. Earlier this year, over 40 senior executives from the maritime industry identified key priorities that are prime for innovation. And these priorities are in the areas of decarbonization, supply chain resilience, digitalization, and manpower. They also shaped the 15 innovation opportunities we have, which are covering the areas of smart port, smart ship, crew safety, training and well-being, maritime services and logistics, and green technology. And of course, this year, as always, we also have the open category to receive some of the most creative and innovative solutions. We are looking for entrepreneurs across the whole world with technologies and solutions to these challenges, and we want you to reimagine your solution for the maritime industry. Application for the SmartPort Challenge begins today and ends on the 8th of July. The corporate partners and an independent judging panel will assess all the applications before we announce the selected finalist at the end of August. So if you are one of the chosen ones, you will join the 5th cohort under Peers Anyone in a 6-week program called Peers Anyone Accelerate, where you will further validate your solution with our network of corporates. And the grand finalists will pitch and compete for cash prizes that amount to 18,000 Singapore dollars. More importantly, all finalists who who qualify will be eligible to apply for an up to 50,000 Singapore dollars NPA grant for POCs and prototype development with our corporate partners as well. So there is a little bit of an exciting segment today, so I think the entrepreneurs would like to hear it directly from the Smartport Challenge alumni, what their experiences were like, the latest development, and most importantly, if they have extra tips to share with our entrepreneurs who are interested to apply for the Smartport Challenge. So I'm just gonna bring one for myself. All right, can I invite Dr. Marcus Chen, Yun Sil, Eugene, and Lai Peng on stage, please? Yeah. All right, can we just do a quick mic check?
Hello.
Hello, hello. Fantastic. All right, so these are alumni from Smartport Challenge across various cohorts. Two of them are fresh from last year's Smartport Challenge, and we have Lai Peng and Eugene from FlexoSense and Weave Air. Yun Sil was from our 2020 cohort, and Marcus, you were from the batch before, right? 2020. 2020 as well. All right, so we've run several cohorts already. We're going to start this by having them introduce a little bit about themselves and what they do. I'm sure everyone's excited to know that. So Marcus, maybe we start with you.
Hi, afternoon. VIPs, SMG. Vivix is a Singapore startup. We focus on smart sensing, and to Pier 71, we applied smart sensing to maritime business. So to Pier 71, we applied a VR inspection for vessels. One of the challenges vessels have faced, especially during the pandemic, is how to inspect regularly, and how do you enable anyone, either from Thailand, Indian or Chinese on board to inspect vessels for you. And we bring in the VR to allow anyone to walk through, and the inspectors work from home to inspect vessels. And through our AI, this is done very efficiently and remotely.
All right, thank you, Marcus. And Yun Sil, what about MUA? What does MUA do?
Hello, hi. My name is Yun Sil. I'm the co-founder and CEO of MUA. So MOA provides a predictive software solution for customs regulation screening and transport safety. So one example in this shipping maritime case is, as you know, there are one cargo ship fire happening once every 2 weeks. So we can detect presence of dangerous goods even when shipments are misdeclared or the chemical compositions are not stated. Thank you.
And Eugene?
Yeah, hi, Eugene. I'm Eugene. Yeah, so at Weave Air, we do air sensing and data analytics. So as part of the Smartport Challenge, what we did was to work with the insurers, right? What we hope to do is to use air sensor quality data and as well as the other ship sensor data, collate it together, and then use it for insurers to have a better gauge of the safety on board vessels and to let them have a more accurate calculation of premiums and use insurers' data to reduce potential incidents.
Right, thank you. And last but not least, we have Lai Peng.
Hi, I'm Lai Peng. So I'm from FlexoSense. We answer the challenge statement of around worker safety, specifically slips, trips, and falls. So our solution proposed is really a smart insole, embedded one, into the workers' boots to really be able to detect and report these STFs, and more important, equally important, to be able to report back to the management via a dashboard that can allow them to have real-time knowledge about the event, and at the same time to be able to have safety intervention and closed-loop management.
Great, thank you so much, everyone, for the very interesting introduction. And I believe that congratulations are also in order. So for our 2021 cohort, that's FlexoSense and Weave Air, they've secured their $50,000 MPA grant.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And also congratulations to MUA and Vivix for completing their projects that was also sponsored under this grant. So we have some very interesting questions to come up with. So Marcus, can you tell us what what was the conclusion of your project? And I believe you also have a very interesting ask that you may want to extend to potential customers out there, right? Yeah.
So we did this short project for 6 to 9 months. And in fact, it's short because VBIS didn't come from the maritime. We come from logistics and constructions. And so we come in to do this VR for vessel inspection with one of the largest vessel charterer, Ocean Network Express. Thank you to Ocean Network Express. They own hundreds of vessels and they need to inspect very regularly. And now we now expand to vessel owners. We are now conducting a trial in Korea to inspect a vessel that just purchased by a Singapore company to help to do this, validate our inspection and where it stands in terms of qualification of the vessels, in terms of safety, in terms of quality of vessels. So we are looking to expand this service to more vessel owners and also those who want to do to rent the vessels for your service. Instead of inspecting vessels once a year, now you can do it every month or even every week with our service. And the cost of it is a fraction of it. That's the beauty of this.
Yeah, and someone whispered to me and said that you guys are extending sponsored vessel inspection as well for a limited period of time, right? So
yes.
How did they reach you?
Yes, we are offering free trials now, please.
Not free, but sponsored.
Sponsored by MPA and please.
All right. So, Yunsi, what about yourself? What's the conclusion of your project? Anything you want to share with everybody? You could be fishing potential clients here as well.
Yeah. So for us, we have always been passionate in solving compliance issues for shipping industry. So for us, before we joined the SPC, we were actually working with Port Authority based in Europe, and we were mainly working for compliance for transaction of data for bulk trading. So as you know, in Singapore, it's one of the biggest transshipment hub for container shipping, and definitely there is a specific Asian characteristics that are very individual to different ports. So joining the SPC, speaking with shipping companies and also the port authorities, it helped us to understand how we can properly pivot so that we can serve the market in Singapore. For us, we are currently looking to do sponsored pilots and trials for companies who are looking to, as mentioned, for container shipping. If you're looking to detect dangerous goods, as you know, one of the rising concerns, with the recent ship fire that's happened in the recent year. And also we do customs regulations for any cargoes that are coming in or being transacted through Singapore to check through custom regulation, not only in this area, but for all areas around the world. So overall, SPC has really given us a great insight into how, as you've heard, chicken and egg situation, right? And that's what all the startups have struggled with. But for us, we have really gotten very good answers where we apply directly to our solution development. So we hope that there are other entrepreneurs and startups out there as well who are looking for such similar development, that this would be a great opportunity.
Thank you. So I'm not sure if everyone's aware, but most of the startups that come through Singapore Challenge, they may not originally be operating in the maritime industry. So, they reimagine a solution when it's ripe for, some of the challenges in this industry. Hence, that's why, there's this word reimagine appears on anyone's name. So I would like Lai Peng to share her story. She's got a very interesting background where, their original industry has got nothing to do with maritime.
Yeah. Yes, truly. In fact, I started off by, working in a MNC together with Michael over there. small world, hi. So came out, did my master's in NUS, because my last job is in IP. So I naturally went for the law course in NUS. Didn't really like it, but went on to my master's in IP, and that's where in the engineering faculty, and that's where entrepreneurship comes in. So one thing led to the other, we set it up, and actually our first use case for the Smart Insole is really in the medical field. In fact, very niche also. in solving diabetic foot ulcer patient. So when Minister Gan say war on diabetes, I feel so vindicated because prior to that, it's really a lot of cold water, splashed on the idea. Anyway, short story coming back here, I still remember I only submitted 2 slides in addition to what we're doing. And I was very grateful that with those 2 slides, they kind of like, hey, you might have a chance there. And after the challenge is over, we talked to WSHI. I mean, shout out to our great collaborators at WSHI as well as ASME, represented by Keppel Shipyard. They say the reason why they chose us is because they have never heard of this solution before that it can help them, right? So again, I took a leap of faith and looking at the challenge statement, because they want to identify slips, trips, and fall without any video analytics. So they said, hey, maybe us can, because in the medical side, the podiatrists are very keen to look at how much walking, sitting, and standing a diabetic patient is doing. And we have done that, we are doing that. So we know that very well. In fact, when we went to one of the validation, in fact, one of the corporates said that, I'm not interested in your safety, we're super safe, okay? But I'm really interested in your walking, sitting, and standing, because I'm looking at worker productivity. So that it potentially could be another additional thing for us. But obviously, we want to focus on slip, trips, and fall.
All right. Yeah, so that's how they find another new market in the maritime industry, and that story really resonates with many of our startups as well. So thank you very much, Lai Peng, for sharing that interesting story. You know what? I do want to bring out a little bit about your experiences having joined Smart Pro Challenge and Pearson Accelerate. And it's not going to come from me, right? So it has got to come from you guys, and I didn't pay them to say this. So, you know what did you experience, throughout the 6 to 8 weeks that you were with us in last year and 2020? That's before COVID, right? Yeah. So maybe we can start with Eugene.
Oh.
What
right.
elements did you remember the most?
Well, I remember the mentorship sessions, right? Yeah. So for us, most of the sessions were on Zoom and all that. So I think I will be quite jealous of the new batch of people who can do it offline and have all the site visits and all that. Yeah. But then, I really liked our mentor, which was Bernard Liu. Yeah, and he really helped us a lot. He asked all the toughest questions.
So I actually spot some of our mentors here today, who helped throughout our program in the past cohorts as well. So mentorship is a very key element in Pearson and Accelerate, and we do choose our mentors because of their background. They've got wonderful experience in the industry or in other areas that are relevant to our startup. So that's one thing that our participants can also, expect. So having said that, mentorship's important. Another element that's important is, of course, the networking, as well as peer learning and peer support. So I wanted to ask, right, especially for startups that didn't come from this industry, what kind of challenges did you face having to, how did you maneuver a new area? If you have any new tips, any great tips for our potential applicants out there.
Have a thick skin.
Thick skin.
Make full use of your LinkedIn premium account. Send all the LinkedIn emails to everyone and under the sun. I'm amazed that actually I have very good interviews out of that. In fact, one in Namibia, because I'm like, he's like Singaporean, I mean not Singaporean guy, but Caucasian, but his company is Singapore. But why are you in Namibia now? So anyway, the short story of that also, I got very good takeaway from that. It's like, Africa is not for us yet. That's it. So yeah, that's thick skin. And perhaps for me, Michael would know me best too, curiosity, is just ask that extra question. You never know, that question will lead you to somewhere else.
So I guess it's not any different, right? If you go into a new industry, your natural curiosity, being thick-skinned, I wouldn't say thick skin, maybe perseverance, huh?
Thank you.
A better word for it.
No, I agree with Lai Ping. Being thick-skinned is good.
Okay. Okay, that's great entrepreneurial spirit. What about you guys? I mean, did you guys find it challenging? And if there were any challenges, then what did you do to maneuver or get out of that situation?
For me, I think I second to Lincoln's. I think I follow most of VIP here. I'm your friends, by the way. So you can see the VIPs, they often post a lot of these events and the future plans. So also get some hints on that. Also to Pier 71, I also make friends with mentors. I think almost all the mentors are my friends on LinkedIn. So, and they are in the industry for 10, 20 years. So often they have opportunities and some events that can participate. So that's how I can expand the network. And we know that they have their own network. So when they like something, you expand to their own network. So that's how we can expand. Yeah, network. Yeah.
I guess that's power of connection. Tip number one. So in this world where sometimes face-to-face interactions is a little bit limited, LinkedIn is a great way. But second tip is always tap on your mentors network. They have got fantastic. They know a lot of people in the industry. And for this year's edition, I hope, not jinxing anything, we're bringing back the face-to-face element. So that's where the industry, connections and everything would happen in person. Yeah. So next thing I wanted to ask is about the grants that you guys got. What did you use it on? So how did that help you in securing maybe your first customers or anything like that? Yunsil, you want to share?
Yeah, so maybe just adding to the previous point is, one of the difficult things with startup is how much do we customize to our customers' problems to an extent that it could also be scalable, right? So the grant definitely gives us sort of experimental leeways for us to try out different solutions, help to customize to an extent that we can replicate that solution and find a use case that's a common ground for the companies that we'll find in Singapore. So definitely the grant really helps tremendously, not only in hiring and having a bit more runway for your development, but also it's the premises of how this grant was given as well. The fact that you're one of the startup under Pier 71. I think in most of the meetings that we have had with the shipping or maritime companies, they have heard of, they all know NPA, and they have all heard of the initiative for this. So it's honestly a great badge of honor that I think I can speak for most of the startups that to be part of this support, to be part of this network, and to be approved is a huge jump of recognition for us. And that has really helped us the most. Yeah.
So what's next for you then, for MUA?
So for MUA, if you are looking for any compliance areas, just please reach out. We are always ready to, right now our solution have been ready to be commercialized, and we are actually looking to promote. We have signed on pilot deals with companies. So that's our next step forward, having the solution out there on the ground. Really, our slogan is spend minutes to save millions. So so if you're looking to do that, you can always reach out to us.
All right, so they can look for you to find out a little bit more about the project you did, the positive outcomes, and they're ready to take on customers, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We have got the accuracy. That's how we've tested with real life data. So so that really was the period that we had in the last 2 years with the grant and with the with this development R&D phase that we have gone through.
What about Eugene? Can you disclose a little bit about the project that you're going to embark on? As in, they have already mentioned it, but is there anything you can share?
No, I guess not so much. Yeah, but on the other side, we are also not entirely focused on the maritime industry, right? So we're actually going to be deploying our sensor networks in a very large local supermarket chain.
But what about for the maritime? All right, so there you go, another industry for you to explore.
We can talk to them too.
Okay, there's time after this. All right, what about you, Lai Peng?
We just received the grant. Thank you again. So Desmond want to come to our meeting, the first one, which definitely will help to shape the discussion. While waiting for the grant for so many months, we're actually, Keppel Shipyard has been so wonderful. They just literally tell us what you need, what do you want, just tell us. So they actually built a rig for us already, and then we did some simulation. Unfortunately, that part of the shipyard is no longer available for us. They have to rebuild for us when it comes to this new grant period.
So what happens with the grant is that throughout the 6 to 8 weeks program, what they did was they did a lot of validation work, right? So you spoke
We did also a little bit of, we actually gave the insoles for the workers to
Do a
wear.
test run.
The smart insole to wear. I'm like telling my guys, it's only a few hours, why can't you give me the data? I say, do you know it's gazillions of data? So actually right now, the team automatically said that they're going to use ML, to, train the data later on. So they're getting, so we're all really getting, waiting for the grant to happen so that we can go full force and, do some stuff.
Yeah, so throughout the 6 to 8 weeks, what they did is, I mean, of course, these participants, they were selected for the very reason that there's a potential match between a solution that can be tweaked for the challenges that they're addressing, right? So they spent 6 to 8 weeks talking to a lot of people in the industry to validate and to kind of like redesign some parts of the solutions. Then after that, once they get a corporate who's ready to say that, hey, this is something that's really interesting to us, there is something that resonates with what we want to explore, and hence the grant comes in to help them take that step forward, right, with the prototype development sometimes, and very often it's really POC. Yeah,
Yes.
so what's critical is that for the startups that are selected in the program, you use that 6 to 8 weeks to get the validation done and to hopefully interest at least one corporate partner to do this together. So for the corporate partners that are present here today or also online, so what's required is, of course, your effort and your expertise in guiding these startups on what's really the pain behind your challenges, what are your requirements. So that's really what we are asking for. You are the experts in these areas, and so we've got the solutions ready here, but both parties will have to work closely, in order for the projects to be successful. Yeah, so that's how we kind of also de-risk these prototype development and POC projects. Yeah, so that's what goes on within 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah, so it was a pretty tough one last 2 years because of COVID-19, but we kind of, made that happen through technologies. So any tips that you want to share with potential applicants? Marcus.
Okay,
And I must say first, everybody must say something different.
Okay.
Can you ask me next?
Okay, yeah. So, just talk to corporates. So during pandemic time, we don't have FaceTime. We Zoom a lot. And one tip is this scheme. But for us, we just persevere. The corporate say, oh, this is nice, but not what I want. So when we first proposed something to Ocean Network Express, we come up with LiDAR. Okay, you want a virtual, we build a 3D model for you. A LiDAR costs $3,000. The innovation officer scratched his head, this is a bit more too complex. So we come out a $50 VR camera attached to your phone. And he said, oh, this is what I want, and let's go for it. So it's okay to propose something that totally out of the imagination, but get it to talking to corporates and get to what he really needs and where is already paying. So talk more.
Right. Okay. Something related. How do you deal with rejection then? I'm sure you must have asked a lot of people, and sometimes people say no, right?
Okay. For us, actually, we have another corporate want to work with us. So they want to work with us to detect oil leakages in the ocean. So I think they monopolize the market. So they fly the aircraft and to to detect where the leakage by thresholds, all this. And we say, okay, let's build a multi-spectral camera and real-time processing on board your threshold. I tell you where it is. So as we talk more, we talk to the Cambridge team. We find out the Cambridge team was so super excited. He said, this is a game changer. But we talk more, then we find out that it's a lot more things to handle. For example, if you want to put a camera in the aircraft, if you want to get a picture out of the aircraft, because all this will come into regulations, and who sponsor the flight, control the pictures. So it's not really a rejection, but we decide to work with Ocean Network Express where we can quickly move the project for 6 months.
All right, thank you. And on that note, right, for corporates who intend to work with startups, it's totally okay to say no upfront and fast, so that they move on to the, everybody can move on. So that's one tip that we realize, when we work with startups throughout the projects. So Yun-Sil, you're next.
So for us, recall when we first, I think for a lot of startups, you're creating a solution that does not yet exist. So, but one thing that I think we have to accept is that not everybody's gonna need your solution, not everybody's gonna like your solution. So we actually, rejection is fine because it's at the end of the day, is we call it a game of the probability, right? The more customers that you speak to, the more feedback you're going to get, you're going to improve yourself, and you're going to understand what is that specific customer segment that your solution is created for. So for us, when we were applying for the grant, I think you need to have your corporate sponsor. But in fact, we found 8 corporate sponsors by reaching out to, I think, to hundreds of shipping companies around the world. We met with, of course, I think around maybe 50, 60 of them had meetings, and from there we got 8 LOIs that were signed. So obviously, the more more chances that you're going to take, not being thick-skinned, but maybe a little resilient, it's not going to be perfect, but it's fine as long as you can improve. And now we are speaking to companies that have previously said no, and we're coming back and continuing discussions. So really, just don't give up. I think we'll all get there one day. So just be resilient, talk to more, don't be afraid of rejection, and then, you're gonna eventually find the one.
Right. Lai Peng, you're next.
Oh, thank you. For me, we believe honesty is the best policy. We are very fortunate to have the corporate given to us. We're thankful for that. And we basically said that, look, our expertise is in the medical side. But sounds like maybe there is, and because they picked us because they believe that it could help them solve the problem too. But the way I said it across is that it's as though you have a very blur camera right now, right? So we'll do some simulation. Maybe the image will be a little bit more clearer, but still blurry. But we have to be in it together for the long haul to make that image sharper. So it's actually one of the questions too, right? What do I take away from here, right? It's really the intensity and the focus, right, that we have from the corporate. And of course, also the great support, and the time commitment of everybody, the team, the academics, the mentors, because we're doing it, virtual, and then 7 to 10 p.m., after office hours for everybody.
Provide dinner.
Yeah, no dinner, In fact, the first one forgot about, dinner break for us, Yeah, so I think it's to the startup who want to participate, try to get in because it's a wonderful experience. Of course, you say it with hindsight, right? Mm-hmm. But when you're in the midst of it, you're like, why did I get in,
It's so tough. Yes. Yeah, 7 to 8 p.m. and 6 to 8 p.m. without dinner breaks. Yeah, we made that mistake on the first class, and after that, subsequently we had dinner breaks. All right, so Eugene, what about you? Any final advice for potential applicants?
Well, I think we need to cast the net wider because actually many companies are open to partnerships, right? And that things are not as difficult as it seems sometimes. But just need to be prepared for, many mismatches and disappointments.
Right. Okay, so a tough spirit, basically. Yeah, so I'm gonna let in on a little bit of what you would go through the 6 to 8 weeks with. Besides the networking, there are some sessions as well that we also supplement. For example, you've got entrepreneurship related topics that we will bring in speakers to share. I'm not sure if you guys remember the IP sessions but these are all very practical sessions where we teach entrepreneurs about how, we don't teach how we share. Like, if you're applying for a patent, then it's like, how do you do it? What do you do? How do you get around the challenges? It's not really about how long does patents last, things like that. So these are the kind of topics that we talk about as well. How do you finance your ventures? How do you raise funds? What are the loopholes to look out for? What are the things you should prepare before you go in front of an investor panel and those kind of things. So we complement that with the industry networking, and that's the 6 to 8 weeks program that we have for you at Pearson and Accelerate. So thank you so much, guys, for spending time with us, and I wish you all the best in your, new endeavors in the maritime industry.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now, before we end the main launch program here at the Singapore Maritime Gallery, I'd like to share with you that you can go onto the Pearson website to find out more about this year's innovation opportunities, all 15 of them. And you should also submit your entries by 8th of July, 2022. And from now until then, 8th of July, we will be running a series of roadshows to deep dive into these innovation opportunities. So this will be hybrid events, and you can join us wherever you are. But do sign up for the sessions if you want to hear it directly from the corporate partners themselves. And for the latest updates and excitement at Peer 71 always, follow us on LinkedIn or sign up for the monthly newsletters. Before we end, does anybody have any questions for me or anyone else? No, okay. So we're coming to the end of the main launch program, where it's also live streamed to our friends online. Guests who are here with us at the Singapore Maritime Gallery, please feel free to visit some of the exhibits outside. We have our alumni from various cohorts sharing with you their technologies, their products, and their latest development. It's also time for networking. And you also see some of those posters, which are the innovation opportunities for this year's challenge, a few of them. And lastly, we hope that you will enjoy the exhibits and the gallery itself, and we look forward to meeting you at our next Pearson event. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a great weekend ahead. Thank you.